So, hi everybody. Thank you all for joining us to discuss the open call for the Businesses Reducing Impact on the Environment, or BRITE program, with Cook County's Department of Environment and Sustainability. We'll get started here in just a second. So again, thanks for joining us to learn a little bit more about our needs, or what our needs are currently for the grant administrator for the BRITE program. My name is Ricardo Magallon. I'm the manager of the Air Inspection Division for Cook County's Department of Environment and Sustainability. So if anybody has any questions after this call, or just in general, you can reach out to me at ricardo.magallon@cookcountyil.gov. I lead the project team and strategy for the BRITE program. And outside of this program, I also do manage the Air Inspection Division for Cook County Environment and Sustainability. So my goal really is to enforce environment code for Cook County at roughly 10,000 businesses throughout the suburbs. So by the end of this meeting, I'm hoping that that you all have a little bit more information on at least three main ideas here, three goals. So the first one is to get a better understanding of the mission and reason behind Cook County's BRITE program, um, getting an understanding of the timeline and the scope for this open call. And last, we want to make sure that you understand how to meet the requirements of the application. And here is our agenda for the rest of this session. We just walked through welcome and introductions, but next we'll provide an overview of the BRITE program and then discuss the open call and the application process. After that, we'll go ahead and turn the microphone over to you all to ask me any questions that you have about our BRITE program. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the BRITE program was designed to assist businesses in recovering from the pandemic. The county received a significant investment from the federal government through the American Rescue Plan, also called ARPA. And because of the pandemic, DES understood that businesses experience a disproportionate level of harm and often cannot afford necessary upgrades to make to their operations for more efficient and sustainable practices. The BRITE program provides these businesses with free assessments and education to identify equipment upgrades and more sustainable practices that can help reduce their impact on the environment. And of course, our Department of Environment and Sustainability has set aside nearly $6 million in funding to help support these businesses in purchasing new equipment and implementing energy efficient projects. We have 4 target industries that we are supporting through the BRITE program, which are listed below here under categories. So we are trying to work with, or we are working with, auto body and auto repair shops, food and beverage manufacturers. This also includes breweries and wineries, metal finishers, and dry cleaners. So these 4 businesses were selected because we know that they have a larger environmental footprint within Cook County in particular. The EPA recognizes the first 3 items there, business types there, as national emphasis areas. So we want to focus in on those because we know that they pollute a lot more. Dry cleaners, we know, often have an environmental footprint as well. So there's another reason for that, which I can get into toward the end of this slide, or to the end of this slide deck. So I want to chat a little bit more about our program stages. And for a clearer picture, you can see on this slide that there are 4 major areas to this program. The business expresses interest in the program. Our Department of Environment and Sustainability program staff, or our BRITE staff, go out and conducts a pollution reduction assessment and identifies recommendations from their findings. Next, the business selects recommendations and submits an application in which our team will then review, determine award, and eventually disperse funding. For each step, there are a few activities in which the program team will execute. The selected partner for this grant for this grant administrator open call will play a significant role in engaging businesses to apply for BRITE funding. However, the most important role of this partner will be to ensure funding is dispersed and that participating businesses feel supported throughout that whole process here. So this is where we're going to need a lot of support. We have, our DS team does an assessment, but then after post-assessment, after they apply for a grant, we're going to need that support to walk the business through that application so we can ensure that they put the right information into the application and receive funds accordingly. So now let's turn over to the open call. So as just mentioned, the major role for the selected partner will be grant administration. We want our businesses to apply for funding, but also feel comfortable throughout the process. Once a business is in the pipeline for our program, the goal is to get funding out as quickly as possible while adhering to all guidelines and ensuring all work is high quality. The partner will also be responsible for all communications within the business or with the business regarding the application and grant funding, as well as coordinating the legal agreement process between DES, Department of Environment and Sustainability, and the business and ultimately dispersing funds and closing out the case. Another area of focus, another area of focus here is the select partner is expected to work in concert with Department of Environment and Sustainability to develop a strong communication strategy. We're also expecting our partner to engage the business community and recruit approximately 120 small businesses into the BRITE program. We're also expecting the administrator to collect stakeholder case studies and share success stories from the program. And lastly, build relationships with the small business landscape and corporate partners to enhance program offerings. For the project management scope, as you know, we are funded with federal dollars. It is extremely important for everyone involved in the BRITE program to document and retain that documentation. We need a partner to be collaborative and timely in communications with BRITE program staff, as well as follow up and provide status updates for applications in the queue, collect program metrics, and have a keen eye on the overall program health.
Richie, this may be a good time to ask for questions. I enabled everyone's mics, so we could pause right here for questions. And you're happy to drop those into the chat if you're able to.
Sure. If anybody has any questions on where we are at currently.
Okay, Richie, go ahead for the next slide.
Okay, great. There's a little bit more time at the end in case anybody can think of a question later. All right, so moving on to the next slide. As a federally funded program, we are governed by the U.S. Treasury's final rule. The selected partner for the grant administrator role will become a sub-recipient of the American Rescue Plan Act funds. This means that the selected partner will need to adhere to uniform guidance in the same manner that Cook County government does. A few things to keep in mind. The select partner will be mandated to execute all compliance and monitoring activities, including undergoing a risk assessment, creating a work plan in partnership with the Department of Environment and Sustainability BRITE program staff, actively participate in meetings with our team, and adhere to all Cook County fiscal and program management policies and timelines. This might sound like a bit of a tall order, but this will all be done in partnership with our department. We want you to be successful because that will ensure our success for the program and the small businesses that we are going to fund. All right, so now let's turn over to the application. You can find the open call on our BRITE website. The more information, if needed, will be sent after this call or after this webinar. So please be sure to read it in full and really get a good understanding of the type of partner that we're looking for. It's very important to read the background of the program and understand your role and responsibilities. This presentation should help with that understanding. To note, on the application, it is imperative that you download the budget template and complete both tabs. It's an Excel spreadsheet. There's a tab for the line item budget breakdown, as well as a narrative tab. The narrative tab should explain in high level what each line item will cover in terms of your fee for administrating the program elements. Additionally, there is a fairly long list of items that each applicant will need to submit. Keep in mind there is a 30 megabyte file limit, so please be mindful of your attachment size so you can meet that limit. The application is linked here, but you can also find it on the Cook County BRITE webpage. When it's time for you to complete the online application, please be sure you have all of your documents ready for upload. And please do not include any additional attachments besides the items that are called for. We allow up to 4 work samples that highlight your work. Please do not include more than the allowable 4 attachments. And last thing noted here is that all applications are due by 11:59 p.m. on Friday, June 30th. So please do get your applications in before that time. Reach out if you have any other questions about that before you apply, before that time frame. So moving on to our selection timeline. So this slide shows our evaluation criteria for the program. We will be assessing applicants on the overall quality of an application, the relevancy of qualification, and experience to the mission of the BRITE program. And because this program needs a partner that is fiscally competent and stable, we place quite a bit of points for the budget and financial stability category of the organization. Of course, given the diversity of Cook County in language, income, race, and ethnicity, we want a partner that can demonstrate a commitment to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and who proposes an approach that addresses DEI. Lastly, we are looking for a partner that understands and demonstrates a quality and feasible approach to data collection, reporting, and developing recommendations for program compliance and improvement. And finally, here is a breakdown of our timeline. We are currently conducting conducting an informational session. Of course, the deadline is the deadline to ask for questions outside of this webinar is on Monday, June 26th, and we will post all answers on our website to any of the questions we receive on a rolling basis by June 28th. So all that will be posted roughly 2 days before our deadline. And again, all applications are due on June 30th, and we are going to evaluate all those applications the week of July 3rd. With an announcement for the award during the week of July 10th. We are hoping to kick off the project on July 17th, and the program is expected to go on until November 30th, 2026. I did want to mention the project kickoff on July 17th, but there is certainly a period for project planning, negotiation of timeline, and time dedicated to the contracting process with the county. We expect the selected partner to be fully operational by late fall. Okay, so now I wanted to turn it back over to the people on this call for any questions about anything that I just covered. So, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Evelyn McKinney. Thank you for the overview. I have a question that pertains to the duration of the grant launching in July of 23, culminating in November of 2026. However, on an earlier slide, it spoke to the 120 small businesses needing to be committed by December of 2024. I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind just clarifying why the difference and what that means. And is the expectation that the feasibility study, the risk assessment and the time frame there takes quite a while, and so you're giving a buffer of almost 2 years to make that happen. Just a little bit of clarity would certainly help. Thank you.
Richie, would you like me to answer?
Actually, Landon, if you could take that one, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, so good afternoon, Evelyn. For the different dates, for the December 31st, 2024 date, that's where the department requested that this partner kind of help with recruitment to capture that 120 participants in the program by 2024. That December date is actually the obligation deadline for the American Rescue Plan Act. And so there's a longer performance period that went from 2021 when it passed to December 31st, 2026. And so that's that 26 deadline. The 24 deadline is when a lot of we have to contract and we have to get things under just obligated. So basically letting the federal government know that this is where we're going to direct our money. And then there's 2 additional years to expend that money. I think in terms of what Richie was referring to in that contracting timeline in the planning period, from the July to early fall, of like building up the relationship, there's probably at least at minimum, I want to say a month for contracting with the county. There's scope of work that needs to be defined. There's just really onboarding in terms of getting to know that project team from the selected partner and getting to know the department. And so that we anticipate probably between a month to 3 months. And so the county is expecting the selected partner for this grant administrator position to really be up and running fully fledged by late fall. So that could be like September, October.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Landon. And thanks, Evelyn, for asking the question. If you need clarity on anything else, happy to chat with you afterwards. Just send me an email. We'll clarify additional items here. Any other questions regarding?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Evelyn. Anybody else have any questions regarding this program? Anything to clarify?
One additional question that I did have is I've not had the opportunity to go to the BRITE website and read the open call, but in terms of metrics for success, are those outlined really clearly in the open call? And if not, could you speak to those metrics beyond the working specifically with the 120 and or more small businesses to ensure that they qualify and that are able to receive dollars? Are there additional benchmarks that are in place for success which you have identified?
Sure. So the website has eligibility criteria to start to make sure we're working with specific business types. Like we know the 4 business types, but all those businesses have to have been affected by COVID in some regard. So regarding like those 120 businesses, yes, we want to be able to do outreach and assess these businesses, but the main goal for this subrecipient is to do outreach to show them that we have $6 million in funding to disperse to them after they receive an assessment. So I mean, the most I could clarify at the moment is that that is funding that needs to be obligated by the end of 2024, at least in writing, like a beneficiary agreement. We need to get, we'd like 120 ideally to be in the pipeline and assessed by by then. It's probably, it might be a little less than that amount, but we need support to at least cater to that many businesses total. So we need to have beneficiary agreements signed by that end date of 2024, but we can disperse funds through 2025 and 2026 after those that has been out there. So I think our main metric, our KPI, is number of businesses in the BRITE program assessed, number of businesses that have been funded, and probably the total amount that has been of funding that has been dispersed per business, so we can get an idea of how much support financially these businesses have accepted and have received. Down the road, and this probably goes down more for 2025 and 2026, because this is technically a pollution prevention program as well as an economic benefit here for businesses. We also want to know, after they've installed new equipment, how much energy they've saved, how much water was saved, toxic chemicals reduced, whatever it might be, the metric. We also want to keep that organized as well, so we can report back out how much how many environmental pollutants were reduced from this program.
And just to add on to that, those metrics would be handled by the Department of Environment and Sustainability, related to the assessment itself. The grant administrator would really be tracking, those metrics around the funding and the engagement of the businesses. And the engagement piece is going to be in a collaboration, in concert with the Department of Environment and Sustainability. So, the bulk of the work, as Richie outlined, is around grant administration with support for recruitment and engagement.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Great. Any other questions, clarifying questions? Okay, so I'm going to move on to just one of our final slides here. If you do have any further questions from this webinar, or any questions on the website, wherever you might have any questions that you have about our program in general, you can still submit by going to the BRITE page and or clicking that link right there and just writing it up. Like anything that you have to say, it could be anonymous. So we'll post all those questions on June 28th, and we'll be accepting them until the 26th of this month. So if it's June 29th onwards and you have a really pressing question, or feel free to give me a call or reach out to my email, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. We definitely want to make sure all questions are answered before that final, you hit the submit button. So we're more than happy to to have a conversation if need be. And there's nothing else today. I just want to thank you all for your time today and your interest in helping Cook County Department of Environment and Sustainability administer this great program. I can't wait to review your applications and start this partnership. So again, reach out. Time's ticking a little bit here, so give me a call or send an email if you need any other clarifications on anything here. We are really looking forward to working with you all, or whoever gets the role here. That I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.